So today we are going to take a look at what are, to me, the top 5 best champion designs in League of Legends. I thought about listing some honorable mentions, but instead, let's just imagine that your favorite design that isn't on the list is number 6 and just barely didn't make the cut. First off, at number 5 is Gnar. I remember when I first found out about Gnar's kit, and I really hated the idea of the transformation that required so much setup and was to a degree unpreventable, but I have to say I was really wrong and it actually plays out in a pretty cool way. It really is something that has the potential to be played around by both teams, and a particularly good Gnar will have to flank and really time it well to limit the options of playing around it. In addition to this, both forms feel really unique but cohesive as part of one champion. They both do such a good job of feeling the way they should. The quick pokey little dude and this monstrous lumbering version of him feel just right. It also seems like a small detail, but I really feel like the ability to do the jump bounce into transform combo does absolute wonders for making the transform feel good. It really feels like this is the way the ability is meant to be used and is super satisfying to pull off in a really good spot and get in there and cause chaos. Number 4 is Jhin. I want to start talking about Jhin by talking a little bit about Graves, because I hate Graves' stupid shotgun. I hate the limited ammo and the reloading and how it affects his damage output and everything about it. I hate it. So a few months after that change, we found out there was another champion that was coming out, another AD carry that used the ammo system, and I was really worried. But I was pleasantly surprised when I got my hands on Jhin. If Graves is an example of the ammo system feeling weird and awkward to me and all sorts of bad, Jhin is an example of it feeling appropriate and elegant and wonderful. I think part of it just plays into the game feel and how the design and theme cooperate. Him counting with the shots, and each one feels very impactful and important. There's this real feeling of vulnerability when you're reloading in a team fight or something like that. It's great. Something else I want to highlight is how beautiful his ultimate is. It's probably one of my favorite abilities in the entire game. The zoom out tech they have for it is amazing, and each shot feels impactful, and you have to feel at fault when missing, but they don't make it too hard to hit. The last shot critting just ties it together so well and adds this moment of suspense where both sides know it's coming, but they're not quite sure if it's going to hit, and it'll probably kill the target it's aiming for if it hits. It has this amazing counterplay of just some fatties standing in front of everybody important and soaking it up, and I love that because it rewards good timing and positioning on it, and it can be punished so well, which is great. It's a beautiful kit, it's a beautiful design. I love Jhin. Okay, let's talk about number 3 for a second before I tell you what it is. I know I'm gonna get so much shit for this being here, but I promise that if you throw away every time you've seen them in solo queue and just think about the kit, it's a work of art. Number 3 is the Unforgiven himself, Yasuo. Yasuo is amazing. I remember the first time I played him and I said, wow, why on earth is this in League of Legends? Why am I allowed to play this here? He has so many tools to outplay people with, all these dashes on separate cooldowns on the targets and the wind wall and everything else. Just gives him the ability to do so much. But you can also just fly directly into their team and suicide ult on their backline. And that's great, and very few kits give you as much permission to play poorly as Yasuo, which sounds like a negative, but to me, it also gives you the potential to play really well, and that's very rewarding. Knowing when to go in and when to be patient and using each ability perfectly is just so incredibly satisfying. It's a high all those terrible feed lord Yasuos are chasing, and as one, I apologize, but it's so worth it. Something else I really like about the kit is the knock-up interaction with his ult. There aren't a ton of things in League that really ask for that kind of picking phase synergy, and it's slightly mitigated on Yasuo based on just how much stuff in the game actually procs it and counts as a knock-up for the purposes of the ultimate, but it's still really cool to see that kind of thing in the game sometimes, and in general, I'm a fan of it. Having a friend hop on Malphite and send a big play is such a great moment, and it just really genuinely feels cool to do. We are getting up there, and at number 2, we have Thresh. If there is an up-and-coming support player in pro play, you know they will be good if everyone talks about how good their Thresh is. He has this amazing box of tools to ruin your opponent's day. Saving people with Lantern, catching people with hooks, disrupting with ultimate and flay, his entire kit is honestly an active support player's dream. A really good player can flay people out of their abilities with the flay, he can link together the Lantern and the hook to make this an amazing initiation. There's a lot of ways to kind of grow into the kit and improve. And unless I'm forgetting something, the Lantern is the first skill that required other players' click input to function fully. Now we have things like the Tom Kench teleport and Callista ult, but Lantern is the original please God let them notice and click skill. And in our little voice chatless game, that can be kind of frustrating sometimes, but when they use it correctly, it's really rewarding and it feels like you have some real teamwork going on, not just 2 different individuals playing the game. And number 1 is my absolute favorite champion design in League of Legends, which is the Lady of Clockwork, Orianna. Orianna is perfect. Everyone thinks about her potential to set up huge wombos, and that is certainly an amazing thing. I particularly like this because of how organic it feels. It's just the natural outcome of her kit when you think about it, rather than some very specific shoehorn mechanic. You can throw your shield on someone and they charge in, and you ult to pull their team together and blow them up. It's great. But there's so much more to it because of how important her ball positioning is. When your ultimate is up on Orianna, you can stick the ball down somewhere and dare the enemy team to move through it. But doing this locks you out of casting most of your spells, so it has to be generating more value with that threat than you would be doing if you were just casting normally, and that is a great decision to have to make. Outside of that, you have to determine the order you want to cast your spells. The travel time on the ball makes this a very small decision that usually won't matter, but it can, and consistently good decisions can add up hugely to the long-term success of an Orianna player. If you want to nuke the enemy at point A and shield your ally at point B, you have to prioritize one or the other. Do you simply do whichever the ball is closer to be more time efficient? Or do you really look at it and determine what do you need more in that moment? This is such a subtle thing, but it's constant decision making. There's that whole her separate good from great meme that everybody uses for everything, but this is really a good example of it. There's so many small decisions that come together to make your play. She has a ton of utility on her kit, and you have to try to use it as well as possible, and it all adds up to a really rewarding, effective experience, and something that still hasn't been topped as just a beautiful, cohesive, solid design. So those are my top 5. You can make an argument for a bunch of other champions to fit in this list, which is really great for the game. If you like the video, be sure to subscribe and check out some of our other LOL King content, and I'll see you guys next time.